Hey guys, SpecV here, and right now I'm making a video in my kitchen because I just wanted to get a video out to you guys. I watched another YouTuber called SpecV Studios who has an Infinity Q50, and he made a really good video about all the common failures on the Q50. So I want to put one out for the Sentra, particularly the B16 chassis. So you'll see me around here doing dishes while I'm trying to talk to you guys. I hope that's okay. Okay, so common failure points on the B16, just to get this out of the way. B16s, in general, are very good, reliable cars. They hardly ever have issues. But like every car, they do have some issues, some very common issues. So some of these are for every B16. Well, applicable to every B16, is some of these are only specific to the SpecV. I think it's only one that I can think of, but if I think of something else, I'll get back to you on it. Okay, guys, so the first thing on the B16 that tends to go out a lot is the blower motor for the heating and AC system. So the blower motor does like to go out a lot. Sometimes it'll get full of crap, and when you turn it on, it'll start making or just a really weird whirring sound that, like, it's an extremely noticeable sound. So that would need to be replaced. Now, on most cars, a blower motor is not that bad to replace, but on the B16 Sentra, you've probably noticed we have a pretty big glove box. I mean, a pretty huge glove box. Usually the blower motor is behind the glove box in most cars. Nissan couldn't do that. So where this gets a lot of hate is Nissan put it behind the instrument cluster, basically. And I had to replace the one in my Sentra because it was making a very weird and very loud sound, and nothing was coming out of my vents. Turned out a rodent had gotten in there, I think, and clogged it up. I could make a video on that if you guys... Sorry, phone cut out. I could make a video on how to replace that motor if you guys would like to see it. I think there is another one on YouTube. I consulted something online to figure out how to replace it originally. I just can't remember if it was a YouTube video or if it was a step-by-step guy online. I think it was a YouTube video. Basically, Nissan wants you to remove the entire dashboard to get to it, and remove the instrument cluster to get to it. I am too fucking lazy to do that. So you can remove the brake pedal and the accelerator pedal and the BCM and move a few wiring harnesses over, and you can reach up to get the blower motor. It's just still a huge pain in the ass. So that's a common failure on these Sentras. The other failure point, specifically on the B16 SpecV, is the shifter bushings. Nissan used plastic shifter bushings from the factory. And while that still doesn't sound bad, also got to think that plastic definitely does wear down over time. So your shifter can go from feeling nice and notchy to really loose in every gear. And eventually the plastic can wear down so much to where it can actually snap. The only way to fix that is to buy a whole new shifter assembly for 400 bucks. This is assuming that A, you can find a new one online, or B, if you can get a used one from a junkyard. What the B16 community is trying to do is create metal bushings to replace it. Metal bushings would result in a firmer shifting feel and definitely last much longer. That's something we're trying to figure out how to do. And the other common thing that likes to go wrong with our cars is, well, not a going wrong with a thing per se, just something to look out for. The stock radio in our cars has a screen in the instrument cluster, and that screen, whenever you put an aftermarket radio into it, it no longer works. The screen, if you watched my first video on this car, you'll know why it won't work. But essentially, the screen is connected to the radio, and it'll tell you things like what artist is playing, what station you're on, how loud the volume is. The thing I personally liked was it would tell you your distance till empty, and I think what the temperature outside was, which is just stuff that I kind of like knowing. A company called Metro Electronics used to make a little adapter for our car so we could keep the display. Since then, it's been discontinued, and now it's a bit of a rare part. No, not exactly a failure point, but I put in this video because a lot of people, such as myself, went to put a new radio in my car not knowing that would happen. So we turned the car on, the screen won't come on. We're like, what the fuck? So that's another common failure on these. So another common problem is the ball joints are known to go out. We only have lower ball joints. No, the Nissan Rogue, I don't think they're known for going out. The Rogue and the B16 are on the same chassis. But the SCR SpecV Sentra in particular, I don't think it's a huge ass issue on the base Sentras. They are known to go out. I think I've heard that the ball joints are actually too small for the amount of abuse that us SpecV owners put them through. I don't know as to how true that is, but the ball joints are definitely a known issue on this chassis. The other common failure on these is the subframe bushings. In a previous video I made in regards to the coilovers, I had mentioned there was a knocking sound afterwards, which I'm pretty sure the car did that beforehand as well. I attributed it to old suspension. Turns out that the subframe bushings like to flatten out over time, and you're supposed to have a bit of bushing between the subframe and the frame. The bushing provides a cushion, so you don't hear that knocking sound. When you lower the car, apparently from what I've heard, is when you lower it, that's more stress on everything, and it actually flattens out the bushing even more, to the point to where we get that knocking sound. So slow SpecV, I don't think he gets that knocking sound anymore, or just not as much. He put problem-solving bushings for the subframe in. He said they were a pain in the ass. Took about 6 hours for him to do them, but the car definitely felt tighter in the corners and just felt more connected. So I'm going to buy the PSB problem-solving bushings and these $100 bushing polyurethane bushings with the sleeves that I found on Amazon. The sleeves are honestly one of the biggest pains in the ass about this job because you have to remove the old bushing from the sleeve. But I've heard it's very, very well worth it once you finish it. So that's another very common thing on these cars. I thought of sanding this down and painting it back to the factory color. I've also thought of wrapping this in my entire roof in like Alcantara or something. Not a problem or anything, just something I have noticed over time. Alright, just wanted to get a quick little video to you guys out. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And to see you later for future content. Thank you. Peace.